Hey guys, Kevin Shaw here, editor-in-chief of Mopar Connection Magazine, and we're working on just a bunch of different projects at once, and it just ended up being one of those episodes where we've just got so many different little things going on at once that I kind of want to give a project update, kind of want to let you guys know what we were cooking up, and then also do a quick little swap here on the charger that I thought a lot of you guys would be interested in. So first, let's take a little bit of a walk around as to what I'm messing with in the shop, and then we'll get cracking on the charger. First and foremost, if you can't already see behind me, I've got a whole bunch of really cool performance parts sitting on a shelf. And if you guys looked in the background before, I always wondered, there was a fully assembled 505 cubic inch stroker 440 motor that I'd put together, and we had worked together with the guys at Harlan Sharp and with Trick Flow. In fact, that's the Trick Flow manifold with a Proform 750 race carb on it. Lots of really cool stuff for this build, and we even have a K1 Technologies crank, K1 Tech rods, and Molly Power Pack pistons. And all of that together was to make a good, maybe 600, 6.25 horse package that we were going to throw together. And the neat thing about that build was that we were also using the SDC billet main caps and the big girdle. Now, that girdle kit really is being underused in this build only because, honestly, you really want to run a girdle if you're running big RPM or in a blower application. I'm certainly not running a blower. It's naturally aspirated. All that being said was these are the really cool 240 CFM CNC cut Trick Flows, and we had everything set up, and right around the same time that I was going to start really dialing in everything, I felt a lot of resistance on the camshaft, and that got me a little nervous. Started checking out the cam and really felt a lot of resistance. Might have been a nick in the bearing, might have been something else. I know that a lot of times Mopar camshafts are a little tight in the bearing, but definitely not this tight. And so I took it over to Tommy's Auto Machine. Tommy's is going to go check it out. They're going to put their gauges on it, make sure that everything's really running smooth. You definitely don't want a tight camshaft. That's a quick way to wipe everything out. So, all that being said, we're making sure that the Howard's cam is happy inside the block before I put it all back together again. And what am I going to do with that motor? The plan with that 505 was to replace the 535 that's in the Charger now. There's nothing really wrong with the 535, but there's a couple things that I'm not terribly happy with. First, I definitely wanted to get rid of the JZ Motorsports vacuum pump. I shouldn't be running a vacuum pump on the street unless I'm running a big boost application. That's super overkill, and quite frankly, it's not getting the oiling that it really desires. And the only reason why I'm running that, quite frankly, is because I had a ton of blow-by, which just means that I had not set the rings right. I blame myself on that. I really shouldn't be getting that much blow-by without it. This totally resolved the blow-by issue, and so I'm very happy to have it. But honestly, I really shouldn't be running something that hardcore on the street, doing street driving like I'm doing. So, that being said, the 505 was going to replace the 535. It was going to be a little bit of a decrease in overall horsepower, around pound-feet of torque, but the 505 was going to spin a heck of a lot faster than the 535, be able to shift the car around 6,300 instead of 6,000. So there was just a few things I really wanted to do with the 505. But the 505 is a placeholder until the 572 goes into the Charger. Now, here's the kicker. The 572 is getting the crank and the rods out of the 535. It's a 4.5 inch stroke crank from Eagle, as well as the 7/100 length rods. And I was going to use the crank and rods in the 572 Hemi. and use maybe some Ross pistons or something similar to those. All of that is to be said that when the 505 is done, we'll be doing a swap in the Charger, and that'll be a fun little exchange just to get the car back on the road, because I hate having a perfectly functioning car down. I just, I can't take it. So we're going to be doing that for sure. We also have the engine block for Marsha over at the engine shop getting machined. We also have the crank that we got with it. We've got a whole bunch of other projects cooking up. Interesting note, guys, if you're curious, 76 block, 75 block, interesting differences. Water passage, nice round hole. Water passage, you got the figure 8. You also see the 7R stamping, 8R stamping, and now we got a cast crank that's going off.
Steel.
Excuse me. Got your forged crank. Mine's a cast crank.
Yeah. Get it right.
Jim paid extra for the good stuff. The Fury doesn't need the big badass, so that's okay. So we're gonna get these off to the machine shop. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have these ran 30 over. Obviously hot tanked, cam bearings, chase all the threads, and just make sure that the block is super primo and ready for assembly. But before we do any of that, I want to do one last little upgrade to the Charger as is, and that came to us actually from you guys, and I'm really grateful that you introduced me to this stuff, was when we did the Evans Waterless Cooling upgrade. A lot of you guys reached out and said, man, you gotta stop using those thermostat housings. You gotta hit up Terry's Auto Lab for his really trick custom thermostat housings. And sure enough, I reached out and I bought 2 of them. Okay, so let's take a little closer look at the Terry's Auto Lab housing adapter. Okay, he gives you pretty basic instructions here. Make sure that your surface is clean. You put down the adapter, put the adapter down, O-ring down side first, put in your thermostat, and then you fasten the top of it down. It sandwiches it together between 2 O-rings. You don't need any gasket, no RTV, and it'll be a perfect seal. So let's take a closer look at the kit. Terry didn't even know that we're a magazine or that we do a YouTube channel. He didn't supply these at all. I bought these. And the nice thing is that you can see the quality in which they're machined. Let's look at the base plate first. You can see that he has a little bit of a relief cut in for your thermostat to sit in, and it is chamfered down on the back end. You see where the gasket is perfectly machined and set in there. It's a nice flat fit. It's a very quality piece, and it's high grade aluminum. And then we look at the top here, and the top piece of the kit, it has these really neat countersunk bolt perches. He gives you the hardware with Allen heads. They slide right in, they fit flush, really look nice. And here, I'll pop that back out. And you can see he supplies a second O-ring. O-ring sits in there. It does not, mine isn't sitting in, but that's okay. I have no problem getting it in there, making sure that it sits flat. That's not going to be a problem. But that nice sandwich effect here and here, as long as you just tighten them down equally, going back and forth, you're going to get a nice equal seal. This hopefully delivers. A lot of you guys in the comment section reached out and said, man, you got to get your hands on some of these. And we checked out the website, and we saw that he was a guy doing this himself, and we wanted to support him. So we're going to check it out. So what we're going to do is we're going to start draining out the coolant. We're going to keep it because it's still good. It's not ruined. We're going to pop off the hose and pop off the top of the thermostat housing, clean it all off, and put on the Terry's Auto Lab kit. Tighten it all up, pour the coolant in, see if it holds, see if we get any leaks. Because I'll show you right now, even with all of the RTV, and we use the Permatex RTV, we still get a little bit of weeping out of the gasket. And I'm sick and tired of seeing coolant. So let's do that. Okay, we've got our surface all cleaned off. We're good to put our base plate on. But when it came time to use our modified thermostat, it wouldn't sit nicely inside. It was way too big. So we went over to Advanced Auto, grabbed a 170-degree thermostat that was measured to sit nice inside of our Terry's Auto housing. So we're going to take our thermostat housing, we're going to put our O-ring inside. It isn't in there real tight, but we'll do our best to keep it flat. There we go. That looks good. So it's probably going to be the shiniest piece on our engine right now. And let's get these guys started. And we'll just start snugging them down nice and equal. The nice thing is that we don't even really have to run the engine to see if it leaks or not. We can just start pouring coolant down, and that will let us know if we have a good seal or not. All right. All right, we got the last of our Evans coolant. Start pouring it in. Okay, that's full to the brim. Let's check for leaks. Well, what do you say we do a cold start? See how it fires up. Well, I gotta tell you, it was actually really interesting. Temperature got up to 206 degrees before the thermostat opened up. And as soon as it did, it dropped it down to 176. So, we didn't properly break in the thermostat. We didn't boil it like I typically do. I know it's an old wives' tale. A lot of you guys don't care about that. You throw it in. That's what I did this time. We're staying at 175, 174 right now. So we're doing really good. I see 0 leaks. I gotta tell you, the Terry's Auto Lab thermostat housing really does work. Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful seal. So what's the final takeaway? Well, within a few minutes, we were able to take off our old nasty traditional thermostat housing, get rid of our cut up modded thermostat, upgrade it to a 170 thermostat, and we upgraded to the Terry's Auto Lab thermostat housing. No silicone, no gaskets, no RTV, none of that. We put it on dry. He didn't even want us to put Vaseline on the O-rings. But honestly, right now the engine's at 192 degrees. We've got it way up to temperature and it still isn't leaking. There isn't a single drop around the housing. So I gotta thank all you guys in the comment section who reached out, who gave us the recommendation for Terry's. We're gonna put the link for this exact thermostat housing in the description below of this video. Guys, we're doing a bunch of stuff for Marsha on the back end. We're building an engine. We just finished her transmission, and we got to get together with our buddy Mark Poole and put together the new carrier housing for the Sure Grip and 323 gears that we're gonna put in the back of that 8 3/4. So we got a lot of stuff on Marsha coming. We're doing a little bit of tinkering on the Charger because we can't leave it alone. And we got other projects coming up, a lot of engine builds. So if you love this kind of Mopar content that we're doing, please give the video a thumbs up, leave a comment, and definitely share it with your friends. It helps us grow the channel. And if you want more awesome Mopar content, please, please, please go check us out over at www.Mopar Connection Magazine, where new articles are written every day, Monday through Friday, entirely subscription free to you. Thanks so much again, and we'll see you soon.